When it was mooted that deposits would be regulated, I was invited to sit on the committee with government that formed the regulation. I considered the regulation to be unfair and therefore decided myself not to take deposits. My main reason was that to make the minor clerical error, a tenant could claim 3 times, as it was then, the value of the deposit for no better reason than the landlord had made a mistake. The purpose, I believe, for taking deposits was to ensure that the tenant kept the property in reasonable condition and at the end would pay if he hadn't done so. But it became a different story altogether. The average law centre, when a tenant visited who was being evicted, would ask 2 questions. Is there disrepair? And did the landlord take a deposit? And once they had established a deposit was taken, they would go through the paperwork with a tooth comb and support the tenant in bringing an action as a counter demand against any claims that the landlord had made against the tenant. I decided, therefore, not to take tenants. Equally, it was important, if you did, to have professional inventories. Without them, taking a deposit and claiming from it was worthless for the landlord. Then came the problem of tenants who didn't have any money. They couldn't pay deposits, and therefore my organisation, that houses over 400 tenants, decided that it would not get involved in deposit regulation at all, and has not done so since. Prior to the regulations coming in, we took deposits, but only nominal sums. Any tenant who remained with us for over 3 years, we would automatically refund the full deposit regardless of the condition of the property. Most of our tenants stay long term, anything up to 50 years, and in these circumstances we feel from a business point of view that economically it's better for us not to take deposits and meet the cost of any damage that we could claim as a result of the savings we make in not having to comply with the onerous regulations. If a landlord holds 1 property or perhaps 2, good quality properties, I would always recommend they take a deposit and have a proper inventory constructed by a professional inventory taker. If, however, a landlord decides to go into the market for letting to the economically poor tenants, then to consider very carefully whether those tenants can afford a deposit and whether, by not having the administration coupled with deposits, whether or not it would be better not to take one at all. I should perhaps add that because a tenant can't afford a deposit doesn't mean they won't be a good tenant and pay the rent and look after the property.